Hello, welcome to the course on emerging domain in electronics engineering. So, this is lecture 9 and we will see the special purpose two terminal devices. So, the first device we will study is a light emitting diode. So, LED is basically a semiconductor device that emits light when the electric current is passed through it, or when we are applying a forward bias voltage to a light emitting diode, then there is a formation of light. So, light is produced when the particles that carry the current, known as the electrons and holes, they combine together, and within the semiconductor they combined, and as a result there is a formation of light. Since the light is generated within the semiconductor, within the solid semiconductor material, so this LED is described as a solid state devices. So, we have the silicon and germanium also for the semiconductor material, but if we are constructing a LED using a silicon or germanium, then the greater percentage of energy converted during the recombination process will be in the form of heat, whereas the light emitted will be insignificant. So, that is why we will not use semiconductor and germanium for the construction of LED. So, on the other hand, if we use the gallium arsenide, so this gallium arsenide material, this will emit the energy in the form of photons or in the form of light, and during this recombination process the heat is very insignificant. So, majority of the heat is basically is insignificant, and the majority of the energy is in the form of light, which is invisible, corresponding to gallium arsenide. So, we have materials which is used for the LED, which is used for the manufacturing of LED. So, the first one is the indium gallium nitride, which emits blue, green and ultraviolet high brightness LEDs. The aluminum gallium indium phosphide, it emits light of yellow, orange and red high brightness LEDs, whereas the aluminum gallium arsenide, it emits red color of light and infrared LEDs, whereas the gallium phosphide, it emits yellow and green. So, these are the materials which are used for the manufacturing of LEDs. Now, we will see how the light is emitted, how the recombination process takes place. So, this is the symbol for LED. So, here we can clearly see that we have the p type semiconductor and the n type semiconductor, and if they are combined, they are joined. So, as if we are applying some potential, so what will happen, these holes which are present as a minority which are present as a majority charge carriers in p region, and the electrons which are the majority charge carriers in the n type region, they will basically attract towards this junction, and as a result there is a recombination of holes from p side and the electrons from n side, and as a result of recombination the energy is emitted, and the energy emitted will be the maximum energy emitted will be in the form of light, whereas there is the insignificant energy which is released in the form of heat. So, here we can see that as due to recombination, as we are aware that electrons lies in the conduction band in n type and the holes lies in the valence band of p type. So, as we are applying a voltage, as we are applying a potential to a LED, so what will happen, these electrons will reach towards the valence band and they will recombine with the holes. present in the valence band, and as a result of this there is a light. So this is the basically the principle of working of LED. Now we can correlate the color of light emitted by the LED with the help of band gap energy. So here the wavelength corresponding to the specific color, we have the wavelength. So there is a band gap energy corresponding to the material. So corresponding to the gallium arsenide, corresponding to the indium gallium arsenide, there is a band gap energy. So we can correlate the band gap energy with the wavelength of the material. So this relationship is nothing but Eg equals to Sc by lambda, where h is a Planck's constant, c is the speed of light, lambda is the wavelength in meters. So it has been observed that if we are applying some specific voltage, then the intensity of light is, let us say the light is generated, but as we are increasing the potential, so as we are increasing the potential, or we can say as the current increases through the LED, the brightness increases, but this brightness will become saturate after a certain value of current. So now we have the photodiodes. The principle of photodiode is just reverse as that of a normal LED. So here we have seen that LED, light emitting diode, basically works in a forward bias region, whereas this photodiode basically works in a reverse bias region. So a photodiode, or somewhere it is referred as a photodetector, is a optoelectronic device that absorbs optical energy and convert this optical energy into the electrical energy. And these photodiodes are specially designed to operate in a reverse bias condition. These diodes have a slow response time when the surface area of the photodiode increases. We will see in the working part that as the surface area of photodiode increases, then the response time is we can say is less, the response is slow. So when the photons having some sufficient energy strikes the diode, it makes couple of electron holes. So when the light is incident onto the photodiode, due to this there is a generation of electron and holes, and this mechanism is called as inner photoelectric effect. So here we can clearly see how the photodiode works. So first of all, the holes are majority charge carriers in p region, and the electrons which are majority charge carriers in n region. So here we can clearly see that these holes are basically attracted towards the anode, towards the negative of the battery, and these electrons are attracted towards the cathode, means the positive of the battery. Now how these charge carriers are generated? So these charge carriers are generated when the photons, incident photons, strikes this particular region, and this region we are already aware, this is known as a depletion region. So due to this, these electron and hole pair are generated inside this region, and as a result these holes are attracted towards anode and electrons are attracted towards the cathode. So when no light is applied, means when the incident light is not applied to the photodiode, and this photodiode is reverse bias. So due to this a small current flows through the photodiode, and this small current is known as the dark current. So, this dark current is a reverse current through the photodiode when the light is not present, and it is denoted by I lambda. So, now the current is due to this, the overall current will be the sum of the dark current and the photocurrent, means this current is basically when the photons are striked on the depletion region. So, this dark current must be reduced to increase the sensitivity of the device, to increase the sensitivity of the photodiode. Now, we have the types of diode. Generally, we have the PN junction photodiode and we have PIN. PI stands for intrinsic, P intrinsic, N, and the third one we have the avalanche photodiode. Among these three photodiodes, the most commonly used are the PN and PIN photodiode, whereas the avalanche photodiode, this is having an advantage that these are having a high gain, but again the response time is slow for these particular photodiodes. So, that is why they are not used. These avalanche photodiodes are used in that particular application where the high gain requirement is there. Now, we will see some applications of photodiode. So, these photodiodes are used in the medical applications such as computed tomography and pulse oximeter. Photodiodes are used for optical communication. In an optical communication system, at the receiver side, the photodiodes are installed. They will capture the optical energy, and after that this photodiode convert this optical energy into the electric energy. Again, these photodiodes are also used in the CD players, compact disc players, and these photodiodes are also used as the smoke detectors as well as in the space applications also. So, these are the applications of photodiode. Now, we have the third special purpose diode is a varactor diode. So, varactor diode is a p-n junction diode whose capacitance is varied by varying the reverse voltage or by varying the reverse bias voltage. So, varactor diode is somewhere referred as the variable capacitance diode, VariCap. These are also known as the tuning diode, variable reactance diode and variable capacitance diode. These are all the synonyms corresponding to the varactor diode. VariCap is variable capacitance diode. So, what happen under the reverse bias condition, means when a p-n junction diode is reverse biased. So, as a result there is a formation of depletion region. So, that region basically covers the immobile charge carriers. So, as we are already aware that as reverse bias increases, so the width of depletion region, let us say WD is the width of depletion region, will be increases due to the more reverse bias. So, we have already seen that a p-n junction diode offers two kind of capacitances. One is the transition capacitance and the diffusion capacitance. Transition capacitance is generally occurs in a p-n junction diode under reverse bias condition, whereas the diffusion capacitance occurs in a forward bias condition. So, here we are dealing with the reverse bias condition. So, the transition capacitance came into the picture, which is represented by CT. So, as reverse bias increases, the width of depletion region, let us say WD, that increases. So, as a result the transition capacitance CT decreases, Now, we will correlate the transition capacitance, or we can say the width of the depletion region, with the applied reverse voltage. Before that, we will see the symbol for the varactor diode. We have the diode and we will have something like this. This shows the capacitance, parallel plate capacitor. So, this is a symbolic representation for the varactor diode. Now, we will see how the capacitance, transition capacitance CT correlates with the reverse bias voltage VR. So, here we can see that CT is equal to some constant divided by Vt plus Vr raised to power n. Now, this Vt is the knee potential, whereas Vr is the reverse bias potential, and n equals to 1 by 2 for alloy junction and 1 by 3 for diffuse junction. Means we can say that as we are increasing the reverse bias, so this CT keep on decreasing. Now, this CT will not decrease in a linear manner. This will basically decreases as per this particular relationship, where n equals to 1 by 2 or 1 by 3. So, we can observe the varicap characteristics, which is capacitance versus reverse bias voltage. So, here we can clearly observe that when the reverse bias voltage is 0, we have something 80 picofarad capacitance, which is somewhere referred as C0 also, capacitance at 0 volt. And as we are increasing, as we are performing more reverse bias, so the width of depletion region WD increases, and as a result we can say my capacitance CT decreases. So, we can say CT is inversely proportional to VR raised to power half for alloy junction. So, these varactor diodes are used in the frequency multipliers. These are also used in the parametric amplifiers and the voltage control oscillators VCO voltage control oscillators, whereas this varactor diode is also used in the tuning device also in the FM receivers. Now, after the tunnel diode, after the varactor diode, we will have the tunnel diode. So, first of all, what is tunnel diode? Tunnel diode basically is a heavily doped p-n junction diode, in which we can say the electric current decreases as voltage increases. So, this part is basically we can observe this thing as means the voltages keep on increasing, but as a result current decreases. This is somewhere referred as the negative resistance. So, the first thing is that it is a heavily doped p-n junction diode. So, the electric current is caused by the tunneling process, and tunnel diode is a very fast switching device, means in the application where the demand is of very high switching, then we will use the tunnel diode. In the computers, it is also used in the high frequency oscillators and amplifiers. A tunnel diode is also known as Esaki diode because of the scientist named Leo Esaki for his work on the tunneling effect. We will see later on in the working part that what is the tunneling effect. Before that, we will see what is the symbol for tunnel diode. We have seen the symbol for LED, we have seen the symbol for varactor diode, for photodiode also we have seen. Now, for tunnel diode we will have like this. Now, this we have already seen that this tunnel diode basically works on the principle of tunneling, or we can say the principle of quantum mechanical tunneling. So, in electronics basically the tunneling phenomena is the flow of electrons across the small depletion region. As we are aware that if forward bias increases, so due to this the width of depletion region decreases. So, if the width of depletion region is small, so due to that the n side electrons will move towards the p side because of the very thin depletion region. So, this process, now this electron basically travels at a very high speed. So, this phenomena is known as tunneling phenomena. So, in tunnel diode we can say that the p type and n type semiconductor is heavily doped, which means a large number of impurities are introduced in the p type and n type semiconductor. Now, this heavily doped process basically produced an extremely low depletion region, means the width of depletion region is very low. Due to this narrow depletion region, the electrons move towards the p side with a very fast velocity. So, that process is known as the tunneling process. Now, here we have now we want to explain here that this tunnel diode works under 5 different conditions. First, we will see the unbiased tunnel diode, means first case when we are not applying any potential towards the tunnel diode. So, we can say that the electrons which are in the conduction band for n type and the holes which are in the valence band of p type, means these electrons will not move towards the p side, and due to that we can say that when the voltage is 0, there is no current, the current is 0. After that, when we are applying some voltage, means this case, due to this what happen, that these electrons which are in now conduction band, they will try to move towards the p side, means we can say that in the valence band of p side, because these electrons are somewhat aligned aligned with the holes. So, as a result, means we can say that the depletion region is narrow also. So, due to that there is a flow of current. So, we can say there is a small tunnel current when a small forward bias voltage is applied. After that, we can see that if we are applying further voltage, then we can observe that these electrons and holes, they are in a same line, and these electron will move towards these hole. So, due to this recombination, there is a maximum current. So, when the maximum current flows, we will see in the characteristics also that will be defined by Im. Now, after that, if we are further increasing the forward bias voltage, then what will happen? Means as a result, this conduction band will go in upward direction. So, again there is a mismatch, something like this, means these some electrons from n region will be combining with the holes. So, as a result, the current decreases, the tunnel current start decreasing, and if further we are increasing the voltage, the forward voltage, then the current basically flows in a conventional manner. We can observe the characteristics also. First point, when no bias potential, means when no bias voltage is 0, the current is 0. After that, when some voltage is applied, then something like this. If we are increasing the forward voltage further, then current increases due to the tunneling phenomena, and current reaches the maximum value, which is somewhere referred as IP, peak value. After that, what happen is, if we are further increasing the current, then what happen is, then we will have this kind of situation, some electrons in the n region will try to combine with the p region. So, as a result of recombination, the current decreases. So, this particular region is referred as the negative resistance region, because on applying voltage, on increasing the voltage, but there is a phenomena that current decreases. So, it is known as the negative resistance region. So, this happens up to a voltage of Vv, which is called as the valley voltage. Vp is known as the peak voltage. So, this happens up to a voltage of Vv, which is a valley point. After that, if we will increase the voltage, then the characteristics will be, we can say, something like a normal p-n junction diode, a conventional diode. So, this characteristics can be explained in three different regions: tunnel region, this one, negative resistance region, and the conventional region, means in a normal p-n junction diode. So, these tunnel diodes are basically used in the logic memory storage devices, in the relaxation oscillator circuits. We are already aware that these tunnel diode used in the high speed switching devices as well as in the FM receivers also. So, this is all about tunnel diode. Now, we will have the last special purpose device, which is a LCD, liquid crystal display. So, the major advantage of LCD is the lower power requirement. If we compare the power requirement for LCD and LED, then the power requirement is low for LCD. That is why these LCDs are used. So, the power requirement is of the order of microwatts, and these are used in the display devices. Now, this requires external or internal light source. If I will compare this with the LED, the LED has its own light, but LCD requires the external or internal light source. So, this is the lifetime, this is the temperature range 0 to 60, and the lifetime is the area of concern, because this is having a liquid, and liquid is definitely having some lifetime. So, because the liquid will be chemically degradable. Now, in this working, first of all, the voltage is 0 here, then the incident light will pass somewhere like this, means there will not be anything will not be visible on the screen, but as we are applying some voltage, what will happen is there is a dynamic scattering process, due to which this refractive index, these particles, these incident photons will keep on scattering in the direction, and as a result the number will be displayed on the screen. So, these dynamic scattering, after that we have the transmissive and reflective modes. Transmissive means in the daytime, if you want to visualize, then we need some reflective type of material which is placed at the bottom side, so that in the daytime also the content will be shown, and transmissive is the clear type. These are the applications of LCD. We have seen that LCDs are used in the calculators, in the mobile phone, in the video players, commonly used in the digital watch also. So, we have several applications of LCDs. These are the references. Thank you.